at Market and Fremont Street.
And now we're walking down Fremont Street from Market towards Mission Street. This is the view from the corner of Market and Mission as we look up toward the top of the Salesforce Tower. Here's another angle of the Salesforce Tower, and as you can see, the actual width of the building isn't that big. As I was walking, I noticed this cool reflection of the Salesforce Tower in the windows of another building. So here we're walking on Fremont Street between Mission and Howard, and this right here is the base of Millennium Tower, which, as we learned, has structural issues with it sinking, and we watched a documentary about the residents, and then here there's support beams holding up the Transbay Terminal, which also recently had some structural issues. And this was likely caused by the landfill that this financial district was built on. And here's a view up Millennium Tower from the corner below the building. This is a close-up of the support beams holding up the Transbay Terminal. This sign says tall ships made land here, and now you're here, referring to the landfill. And this sign is for a neighborhood called the East Cut, and they kind of want to rebrand their neighborhood. This plaque honors Natalie Gubb, a lawyer and lifelong advocate for affordable housing in California. In 1986, she was instrumental in drafting legislation that formed the State of California Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program. And the plaque shown exists on this building with her name on it. This ugly building is PG&E's Embarcadero substation housing electrical transformers. This is a historic E.M. O'Donnell Copperworks building, which now houses the Walker Warner architect firm. John C. Fremont was born on January 21st of 1813 in Savannah, Georgia, to his parents Charles and Anne. Fremont's father died when he was only 5 years old, and his mother was left with several children and limited income. She decided it would be best for her to move the family to Charleston, South Carolina. Fremont's first job, at age 20, was a math teacher aboard the USS Natchez, which he sailed for 3 years. In 1838, Fremont joined the United States Topographical Engineers as a second lieutenant. He would lead 4 major expeditions west to explore and survey for possible expansion. On the first expedition, he climbed a tall mountain that is part of the Rockies and planted an American flag, as seen here. In March of 1844, Fremont and his men traveled through Sutter's Mill, where gold would be found just 4 years later, forever changing the American population demographics. His expeditions continued until the Mexican-American War in 1846. Fremont was appointed by Robert Stockton as major of a battalion made up of common men, mainly volunteers. This worked out well, as Fremont and Stockton worked together to conquer the land that would become the state of California. Fremont was appointed military governor of California, but that didn't last long. Fremont and Kearny did not get along, and Fremont ended up resigning from the position. After his resignation, he returned to his home in the Sierra Nevada, which happened to be in the middle of the gold rush. He became a millionaire, and this allowed him to get exposure. And when California became a state in 1850, he was one of the first 2 senators. His seat in the Senate didn't last long, but his political career continued with a presidential run and being the governor of the territory of Arizona. Fremont died on July 13th of 1890. His 77 years were filled with exploration and trailblazing. He deserves a large amount of credit for the settlement of the western United States, and that is why Fremont Street is named after him. I believe that Johnny Miller deserves to have a San Francisco street named after him. Miller grew up in San Francisco and attended Lincoln High School, where he would play his high school golf matches at Harding Park, Lincoln Park, and the Olympic Club. He would go on to win 35 times professionally, including the U.S. Open and the Open Championship. He was inducted to the World Golf Hall of Fame in 1998. For these reasons, I think a street around Lincoln Park or Harding Park should be named after him.